Hello and welcome to Kashmir Now. I'm your host Akansha Parimu. Let's take a look at what made news this week. PM Narendra Modi inaugurates world's highest railway bridge over Chenab in India's J&K. Kashmiri Pandits flock to Kashmir Valley for sacred annual Mata Kheer Bhavani Mela. Basic services reach far-flung J&K's Rajouri villages through development push. And from operation to protest, POJK analyst discusses rising unrest in Pakistan-occupied territories. In our Incredible India segment, we'll see how India is witnessing a major health revolution, with fitness becoming a daily priority. From yoga to smartwatches, people are embracing a wellness-first lifestyle. Wearable tech offering tools like ECG and AI coaching is empowering millions to monitor and improve their health, making fitness smarter, data-driven, and deeply integrated into everyday life. In a historic moment for India's infrastructure journey, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated two engineering marvels in Riyasi district of India's Jammu and Kashmir, the world's highest railway arch bridge over the Chenab River and India's first cable-stayed railway bridge, the Anji Bridge. Standing tall as a symbol of new India's engineering excellence, the Chenab Bridge connects Kashmir to the rest of the nation like never before. These bridges mark a new era of connectivity, development and integration for the region and the country. Let's take a look. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the world's highest railway bridge over the Chenab River, marking a major engineering feat and strengthening connectivity, tourism and economic growth in the region of Jammu and Kashmir. Before the grand inauguration of the Chenab Railway Bridge, PM Modi conducted a detailed inspection of the iconic arch structure. During the visit, he interacted with key leaders including J&K's Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav and Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh. The PM also took time to meet the dedicated workers behind the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla Railway Link project. Both the Chenab and Anji bridges form critical components of the transformative US-BRL in Jammu and Kashmir.
साथियों, चिनाब ब्रिज हो या फिर अंजी ब्रिज, ये जम्मू की और कश्मीर की दोनों क्षेत्रों की समृद्धि का जरिया बनेंगे। इससे टूरिज्म तो बढ़ेगा ही, इकोनॉमी के दूसरे सेक्टर्स को भी लाभ होगा। जम्मू और कश्मीर की रेल कनेक्टिविटी दोनों क्षेत्रों के कारोबारियों के लिए नए अवसर बनाएगी। इससे यहां की इंडस्ट्री को गति मिलेगी। अब कश्मीर के सेब कम लागत में देश के बड़े बाजारों तक पहुंच पाएंगे और समय पर पहुंच पाएंगे।
In another moment showcasing Jammu and Kashmir's growing connectivity, former Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah returned to Srinagar after offering prayers at the revered Ma Vaishno Devi Shrine. His return journey aboard the newly launched Vande Bharat Express underlined the region's rapid infrastructural progress. The high-speed train service is part of the broader effort to integrate Jammu and Kashmir more closely with the rest of India, enhancing mobility, promoting tourism and bringing long-awaited convenience to pilgrims and daily commuters.
उनका मशकूर जिन्होंने इसको बनाने में मेहनत की और ये पुल तैयार हुए, जिससे कि हम आज न सिर्फ कटरा बल्कि जैसे आपने सही कहा कन्याकुमारी तक, मुंबई तक, कलकत्ता और आसाम तक रेल से जा सकते हैं। इसका फ़ायदा ये भी है कि सैयाह आसानी से आ सकें, टूरिस्ट आ सकें, और हमारा जम्मू कश्मीर के जो लोग हैं वो जा सकते हैं। रेल ही थी जो कभी बंद नहीं होती, बर्फ पड़े या कुछ हो, जहाज तो बंद हो जाता, हमारी सड़क बंद हो जाती है, मगर ये रेल एक चीज़ है जो उसको 24 घंटा खुला रखे। हमारे मरीज़ हैं जिनको दिल्ली, चंडीगढ़, बम्बई, चेन्नई जाना पड़ता है, वो आज अब आसानी से इस रेल से जा सकते हैं और उनका खर्चा कम होगा।
The launch of the Vande Bharat Express in Jammu and Kashmir has received an overwhelming response from travellers and pilgrims alike. Visitors heading to sacred sites like Ma Vaishno Devi have praised the train for its speed, comfort and modern facilities. Tourists and locals now see the railway as a game changer, offering a safer and more efficient journey through the region's mountainous terrain. The new rail connectivity is not just about travel, it's about bringing people closer to the spiritual and scenic heart of Jammu and Kashmir.
मोदी साहब इसका उद्घाटन करेंगे तो हमने अपने बेटे के जन्मदिन के दिन, इसका एक संजोग था, इसी दिन ट्रेन चलने वाली थी, हमने टिकट भी बुक कर लिया। तो हमने बचा कि इस ट्रेन की पहली जर्नी पे अपने बेटे का जन्मदिन मनाते हैं, ताकि जन्मदिन इसके लिए यादगार बन जाए। और दुनिया के सबसे ऊंचे ब्रिज पे मैंने इसका केक काटा।
The inauguration of the Chenab and Anji bridges marks more than just engineering milestones. It reflects a new era of transformation in Jammu and Kashmir. Since the abrogation of Article 370, the region has witnessed accelerated development, from world-class rail connectivity to expanding tourism and infrastructure projects. These bridges are powerful symbols of integration and progress, bridging not just distances but decades of neglect. As Jammu and Kashmir moves forward, it does so on the strong pillars of unity, development and national pride. In a heartwarming display of faith and resilience, hundreds of Kashmiri Pandits gathered at the revered Mata Kheer Bhavani temple in Tulmul in India's Gandarbal district for the annual Mela. The sacred occasion, marked by devotion and emotional homecoming, saw devotees offer prayers under tight security arrangements. The temple, dedicated to goddess Ragneya Devi, holds immense significance for the Pandit community. Let's have a look.
The annual Mela Kheer Bhavani was celebrated with immense devotion and enthusiasm at the revered shrine of Mata Ragneya Devi in Tulmulla, Gandarbal district of India's Jammu and Kashmir. Devotees, including a large number of Kashmiri Pandits, thronged the temple to offer prayers and seek blessings in a spirit of harmony and tradition. Gandarbal, known as the gateway of the picturesque Sonmarg along the Srinagar-Kargil highway, came alive with spiritual fervour, echoing the deep cultural roots and peaceful spirit of the region.
और सुबह से हमें लोगों ने मुबारकबाद दी है और गवर्नमेंट ने खासकर जहां की जो लोकल गवर्नमेंट है, जहां के एलजी साहब हैं या जहां के जो हमारे महाराजा साहब हैं, जिनका जो ट्रस्ट है, बड़ी अच्छी जहां व्यवस्था लोगों को रहने की है, लंगर लगे हुए हैं, बहुत अच्छा आप देख रहे हैं। मुसलमान भाई भी आ रहे हैं, जहां मंदिर में सब गुलदस्ते की तरह हम मना रहे हैं, पूजा हो रही है। कल से ही हमारे श्रद्धालु 2-3 दिन से जहां आए हैं, जहां रहने की व्यवस्था है, बाथरूम है, सब कुछ है और बहुत अच्छा। हम माता के आगे यही प्रार्थना करते हैं कि हमारा हिंदुस्तान ये विश्व गुरु बने और कश्मीर में फिर बहार आए और कश्मीर प्रगति की ओर बढ़े।
The Kheer Bhavani Mela stands as a glowing symbol of communal harmony and brotherhood, embodying the pluralistic spirit that has shaped Jammu and Kashmir for centuries. This sacred festival transcends religious boundaries, bringing together people from different communities in celebration and unity. Authorities have ensured comprehensive arrangements for a smooth conduct of the Mela. Adequate measures have been taken for security, sanitation, healthcare and public assistance to cater to the large number of devotees.
अरेंजमेंट तो हर साल यहाँ पे होता था, लेकिन इस बारी मैंने कुछ अजीब सा अरेंजमेंट देखा। आप देखिए, अगर अंदर आप देखेंगे तो बहुत अच्छे जो शिविर बनाए गए हैं, सोने, रहने, उठने बैठने के लिए अलग से इनको। पहले तो ऐसा नहीं होता था, टेंट नहीं होते थे अंदर, मतलब भवन के अंदर, और अब बिल्कुल विभिन्न 5-6 किस्म के टेंट बनाए गए हैं। ये तो एक परंपरा यहाँ की है कि जो मुस्लिम्स के बगैर ये तो संभव ही नहीं है ये बड़ा दिन। वो देखिए प्रसाद यहाँ बांटना, अंदर सर्व करना, आगे पीछे सब मुस्लिम्स लोग ही तो सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो इसमें ये आप देख लीजिए, एक गंगा जमनी तहजीब आप देख सकते हैं, एक मिलन हो रहा गंगा जमुना का, जैसे हिंदू और मुसलमान फिर आपस में मिल रहे हैं, यहाँ पे एक दूसरे को गले भी लगा रहे हैं, और ये परंपरा हमें चलती आ रही है।
Elaborate security measures and administrative arrangements were put in place at Tulmulla, Ganderbal to ensure the smooth and peaceful conduct of the annual Mela. Authorities deployed adequate police and paramilitary forces, installed CCTV surveillance and set up checkpoints around the shrine to maintain order and safety. These meticulous preparations reflected the administration's commitment to safeguarding the spiritual and cultural significance of the event.
कि जब भी इस टाइप के जो प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं, इवेंट्स होते हैं, तो जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस जो है बड़े कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव लेवल पे उनके सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट करती है। अभी जो कुछ दिनों में मेला खीर भवानी का जो वो है इवेंट आएगा, और जिसमें वैली के डिफरेंट डिस्ट्रिक्ट से श्रद्धालु वहाँ दर्शन करने आते हैं, तो उसके लिए हम लोगों ने काफ़ी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव अरेंजमेंट है। सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट के अलावा बाकी जो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस हैं वो भी उसमें हम लोगों का हेल्प करता है, वहाँ एक सिक्योर 3 टियर सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट्स देने में। उसके साथ साथ ट्रैफिक और बाकी इंतजामात होते हैं, तो जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस इस टाइप के कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट्स वहाँ रखती है।
An atmosphere of joy and warmth prevailed at the Mela Kheer Bhavani, where emotional scenes unfolded as Kashmiri Pandits and Muslims embraced each other with tears in their eyes. Despite the recent brutal terror attack in Pahalgam, the spirit of unity triumphed over fear. Their shared celebration sent a clear message: hatred cannot divide Kashmir's enduring legacy of harmony and togetherness.
In a major push for inclusive growth, the Rajouri District Administration in India's Jammu and Kashmir is enhancing basic amenities in its remote villages, backed by strong central government support. From improved roads to clean drinking water, these efforts aim to bridge the urban-rural gap and uplift living standards. By delivering essential services directly to villagers, the administration is strengthening infrastructure and restoring hope among communities. Let's take a closer look.
Block Khwas, one of the remotest areas in Rajouri district of India's Jammu and Kashmir, particularly the panchayats of Keri and Odhan, has witnessed significant development in recent times. Once grappling with poor road connectivity and a severe shortage of basic amenities like water, electricity and schools, these villages faced daily challenges. However, recent efforts have brought much needed improvements, enhancing access to essential services and making life easier for the residents of these far-flung areas.
इन पंचायतों में सर मैंने खुली पॉन्ड, एच टैंक, वाटर कलेक्शन टैंक जो लेंटर वाले होते हैं, फिर सर एसबीएम में सोकेज पिट, कंपोजिट पिट, फिर सर एसबीएम में सेंट्री कम्प्लेक्स बनाए हमने। तो सर इसके अलावा हमने सेग्रीगेशन शेड बनवाए हैं। तो एमजी नरेगा में सर क्या कहते हैं, ये कल्वर्ट बनाए हैं। कम से कम इधर नीचे एक केरी ब्रिज का वो 6.5 लाख का ब्रिज बनाया है सर, वो एमजी नरेगा की स्कीम के तहत है सर। तो इसमें सर ये स्कूल बिल्डिंग्स हैं, कम से कम 30 से अबो भी हैं। कम्प्लेक्स ये अपने क्लस्टर मॉडल विलेज में है, वो 10 लाख की बिल्डिंग है। स्मार्ट रूम है, हमारे लट्ठी में स्मार्ट रूम बनाया है।
The implementation of centrally sponsored schemes has led to significant improvements in the region. Key developments include the construction of roads, bridges, school buildings and water tanks, enhancing connectivity and access to essential services. Ongoing projects under the Manrega and PMAY have created employment opportunities for local residents. Through PMAY, many people are receiving permanent houses, which has greatly improved their living standards. These initiatives are transforming the area, providing better infrastructure and greater opportunities for the community.
इस इलाका के अंदर जिस पॉइंट पर आप खड़े हैं, इस इलाका के अंदर कोई पक्का मकान मिलता ही नहीं था। जब से ये प्रधानमंत्री ने एक स्कीम, ये PMY के तहत जो ये मकान लोगों को मिल रहे हैं, उससे आज इस वक्त तक तो तकरीबन 80% लोग जो हैं तकरीबन इसमें पक्के मकान बना चुके हैं। आप देख रहे हैं इलाका के अंदर के काफ़ी पक्के मकान आपको नज़र आएंगे। ये सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट की बदौलत है। क्यों ये लोग पक्के मकान बनाए, गरीब लोग थे ये। अब इन लोग गवर्नमेंट की मदद से, गवर्नमेंट की ये जो मदद दे रही है, इन लोगों को इस मदद की वजह से ये लोग पक्के मकान बना रहे हैं। वो जो कोई बन चुके हैं, जो बकाया हैं, वो भी बन जाएंगे। हम मुतमीन हैं कि इसी तरह गवर्नमेंट ये काम चलाता है तो इलाका काफ़ी आगे जा सकता है।
For a long time, far-flung areas faced significant challenges mainly due to poor road connectivity. Limited access to roads made it difficult for residents to reach essential services like hospitals, schools and markets. However, the government's strong focus on improving road infrastructure has prioritized road construction, greatly enhancing accessibility. These efforts have not only improved connectivity but are also helping bridge the urban-rural divide, uplifting the community and providing better access to vital services for the residents.
आज से तकरीबन 20 साल पहले हम यहाँ से पैदल चलकर त्रियाट से गाड़ी बैठते थे।
कितना किलोमीटर था?
कम से कम सर ये यहाँ से त्रियाट कोई बनता है 50 किलोमीटर। और सर ये 1.5 दिन लग जाता था, कम से कम 2 दिन में कभी लग जाते थे। तो यहाँ से बकोरी जाते थे हम पैदल, बकोरी से वापस पैदल हम घर आते थे। आज तो हमें इतनी सहूलियात मिली है कि हम अपने घर से गाड़ी बैठते हैं, तो अगर कोई बीमार होता है उसको भी घर से गाड़ी में बैठा के ले जाते हैं और घर में आके उतारते हैं। एम्बुलेंस की सहूलियात भी हमें मिल जाती है यहाँ का, अगर कोई पेशेंट हो। तो आज से पहले जो 10 साल पहले हालात थी तकरीबन, उससे आज के हालात जो है तकरीबन बेहतर है। तो हमें उम्मीद है जैसे जैसे दिन बदलता जाएगा ऐसे ऐसे हालात भी सुधरते आएंगे।
The transformation in Block Khwas highlights the positive impact of development initiatives and centrally sponsored schemes on the lives of people in remote areas. The progress in these remote villages is part of a broader vision by the central government and the Jammu and Kashmir administration working towards the welfare of the people. With more projects on the horizon, Jammu and Kashmir is steadily moving towards high-level development.
From decades of oppression to a rising wave of protest, today we bring you a powerful and revealing exclusive. A POJK analyst speaks out on the growing unrest sweeping across Pakistan-occupied territories. Years of neglect, exploitation and broken promises have sparked a wave of resistance. Protests are intensifying, voices once silenced are rising, and Islamabad is losing control. Stay with us as we delve into the realities behind the unrest unfolding in POJK and POGB. To help us understand the situation and provide first-hand insights into the latest developments, we are joined by POJK political analyst Amjad Ayub Mirza. Hello sir, thank you for joining me today. Pakistan's 2025 budget has been announced. Could you comment on how the budget reflects the status of Pakistan-occupied territories such as POJK and POGB? Why do you believe these regions continue to be systematically neglected in Islamabad's financial and developmental planning?
Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan have got a total of about 83 billion rupees share in this budget. Now 83 billion rupees is nothing because it amounts to roughly 29 crore dollars. What are they going to do with 29 crore dollars when the whole infrastructure is collapsing left, right and center, and when people come out and protest, then they have to face the gallows. The fact of the matter is that Pakistani occupied Jammu and Kashmir and occupied Gilgit-Baltistan are not an integral part of Pakistan. They have never been treated like an integral part of Pakistan. They have been treated as a colony because that is in actuality what our relationship with Pakistan is. We are their colony.
Reports of extrajudicial killings have been emerging from POJK. How grave is this issue in your view? Could you elaborate on the scale and impunity with which such human rights violations are taking place?
Many are, forcefully kidnapped and made to disappear, don't know their whereabouts. Hundreds of our youth have been tortured in torture cells that they have established inside Mirpur, Rawalakot and other cities. Recently, Zarnosh and another guy called Gibran were gunned down in a fake encounter because they refused to continue to take part in militancy. This is what is being said. So extrajudicial killing is basically a way to eliminate dissent, and that is what Pakistan does, whether it's Balochistan or whether it's Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir.
We have seen growing unrest and protests in POJK and POGB. Yet there's a complete media blackout on these issues within Pakistani mainstream media. How do you interpret this silence, and what's the situation on the ground during such protests?
Pakistan arrested the leader of Awami Action Committee, Advocate Ehsan Ali. They arrested the chairman of Karakoram National Movement, Advocate Mumtaz Hussain Nagri, and 40 others as well. And that jirga could not take place. And they have also arrested the youth leader by the name of Asif Sakhi. Who is reporting this? Nobody is reporting this. The reason is that they do not want people to know, especially in the Punjab, they don't want them to know that the people of Gilgit-Baltistan or Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir are dissatisfied with the way things are. So they go hush-hush about it.
After India's Operation Sindoor, there's a renewed security focus across the region. While both sides have seen military readiness, how has this affected the everyday life of people in POJK and POGB? What are the sentiments on the ground?
This is a game of terrorism that Pakistan is playing in the region. So they are very happy, and it has had a very positive effect, especially on the people of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir, who look towards India not as an enemy but it has had a positive effect on the people of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir, because majority of the people of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir are totally fed up with these training camps that Pakistan has set up on their land. So it has had a good impact, and the sentiments of the people are in favor of India, obviously.
We have seen several political activists from POJK and POGB being arrested in recent months. How do you view this continued crackdown on dissent? What message is Islamabad sending to the people of these occupied regions?
You know, the arrest of social and political and human rights activists in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir, especially in Gilgit-Baltistan in recent weeks and months, can only send one message to our people, that Pakistan is not going to agree to any sort of project or plan or demand that brings fundamental change, not cosmetic but fundamental change in the situation, the living conditions of the people of Gilgit-Baltistan or POJK. And the message that we are sending back to Pakistan is that we are resilient, we will not give up, we will continue to fight till such day that we are free from the clutches of oppression of Pakistan and we rejoin Mother India.
That's all from my side. Thank you so much for giving us your time. India is embracing a health-first mindset like never before. From gyms and yoga to brisk walks, fitness is becoming a priority, and wearable tech like smartwatches, rings and fitness bands is driving this shift. Reports show the wearable market is booming, with millions using these devices to track health. With features like ECG and AI-powered coaching, smart wearables are helping Indians take charge of their well-being in smarter, more proactive ways.
The Sharma family, typical of many middle-class households in New Delhi, balances modern tech savviness with growing health awareness. Raghav, the family's young torchbearer, swears by a mix of healthy eating, regular exercise and daily activity tracking. For him, smartwatches are more than gadgets. They are vital tools for staying connected to his body's needs and rhythms.
A smartwatch, you can see that I'm using smartwatch, so it helps me out in running, it helps me out in doing my HIIT trainings, it helps me out in yoga, it helps me out when I'm going to swimming. Then I can see how much calories I burn. This is the only goal every single individual, the person who is losing weight.
Modern lifestyles, once dominated by sedentary routines and unhealthy eating, are undergoing a transformation. In 2023, India's wearable tech market grew by an impressive 34%, reaching 134.2 million units. This surge reflects a rising health consciousness, with more people embracing fitness through gyms, yoga, walking and cycling, guided by smart wearables that empower individuals to monitor and manage their health proactively and effectively, making wellness a daily priority across age groups and lifestyles.
It's a very good thing in fitness industry specifically, because you can track basically your whole day. Basically it tracks your whole day, so I would say not even in like gym, but in like your day-to-day activity, it is getting tracked and you're getting day-to-day plans. You can set goals and you can also like aim for something, like aim for a goal or something like that.
As health awareness grows, India-based health tech startup Gabbit has launched the Smart Ring, a sleek, innovative wellness device designed for personalized care. This advanced ring tracks heart rate, sleep, SpO2 and daily activity, all synced with an easy-use-to app. This advanced ring tracks heart rate, sleep, SpO2 and daily activity, all synced with an easy-to-use app. Wearables like Gabbit Smart Ring can be game changers in heart disease prevention, offering real-time health insights, early alerts and empowering users to take proactive steps towards better cardiovascular and overall well-being, making preventive healthcare more accessible and effective.
If you do fitness well, you sleep better. If you sleep better, you do fitness better. Nutrition helps everything, and stress, long-term stress, hampers everything, any health goal that you can think of. So Gabbit is designed to help people track their health markers, but more importantly, use fitness, nutrition, sleep and stress to achieve any health goal.
Technology is reshaping the way India stays healthy, making wellness more accessible, personalized and proactive. With the rise of smart wearables, health apps and AI-powered insights, people are now empowered to track their fitness, sleep and vitals in real time. This digital shift is not just enhancing individual lifestyles, but also fostering a culture of preventive healthcare. As innovation continues, technology will remain a vital force in driving India toward a healthier, more informed future.
That's all we have for you in this week's episode. Goodbye and take care.